In this video, I'm here with my good friend and client, Joël, and what we're going to do is map out for you exactly how he went from 0 to about 4,000 USD per month. And from there, we're going to map out exactly how he's going to go from where he's at right now to 10K plus. So, man, it's a good day. It's a good day to be alive.
Appreciate you sitting here, man.
Of course, the pleasure's all mine. So, first thing I want to do is just sort of map out for people that are watching that journey from 0 to 4K, because you've come in relatively quickly and have been able to get to that level. So, tell us how that happened.
Yeah, so at first in Switzerland, I had like one-to-one coaching, personal training stuff. You know my story. And well, back then I couldn't even imagine like moving online, or like I couldn't imagine, okay, you can give the value that much to the people.
Yeah, I remember you were wanting to come to Thailand and like train people in person and stuff like
exactly. That was not the case.
I bet you're glad you didn't do that now that we're out here. And, you know.
Yeah. So my targeted audience is back in Switzerland, and I have the confidence now to run this online now.
Great. Good man, good man. Okay, so when you joined me back in March, you were at like literally nothing. You were at 0.
Well, the people I coached personally, that was maybe 1 or 2 clients per month I gained. But yeah, I had to overcome it because I was traveling. So if I would not find any people, I have no income. Of course. So that was the situation back then.
Got you. Okay, and then over the next sort of 3 months or 2 months that we've been working together, what has the income level gone to? I know that you've got your numbers up.
Yeah. So I tracked the numbers. In March, the first month, like we're at 1,875 Swiss francs, and second month already 5,100.
5,100.
Yes, that's what I've tracked here so far.
In the second month.
Second month, yeah.
Wow. It's good.
So it surprised me. It was surprising though.
Yeah, those are good numbers. I thought we only hit the 4K mark. I didn't realize you'd gone past that.
Yes, exactly.
That's fantastic. What actually is that in CHF into USD? So you got 5,000 what?
5,100.
5,100. So over 6,000 USD.
Yeah. Well, I must be fair, I want to be transparent. One of my previous clients, he extended.
So you had a renewal.
I've had him already, yeah. So.
Sure, no, that's still good.
In that month, yeah.
Of course, yeah, it's still your cash collected for the month. It's still part of the business. All right, man, so what was the biggest thing that you had a lack of clarity around when you came to us for 2 months ago and you were working with those 1 or 2 clients?
Well, I had no idea how I can do it in online. So I became the confidence, and I was not doing any outreach at all. So I posted the reels and the content, and my following was about 600 or 700 followers. Yeah. Posting videos, I was confident at, but I think you showed me how I should like adjust my content to the target.
For sure.
Yeah, so what people I am going to help with.
Of course. Yeah.
So I think the lack of clarity was like in a daily structure. What I have to do to get my calendar booked.
Of course. Yeah. And you just felt like you didn't actually know what you had to sit down and do every single day in order to fill that calendar with people that actually wanted to buy from you. Yeah, because so many people, and I don't know if you felt this, and I even feel this sometimes in business, they get into online coaching or they get into starting a business and they feel so overwhelmed because there's so many different options and routes that you can go down. Yeah. Did you feel that way somewhat?
Not actually, we kept it very simple.
Of course.
So that was easy, like doing the outreach, posting content, and but very targeted.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right, man.
So I didn't feel overwhelmed. It was just the only struggle is like for everyone out there, maybe you have to do the simple steps over and over again.
That is the struggle. That is the struggle, and I think that's so hard to digest. And for people watching this right now, it's like, oh, really? It's the basics. Is that really the thing that you think actually moves a business forward? Is likely the thing that does so. So anyway, we're going to jump onto a screen share now, and we're going to go through exactly what we've done so far with Joel and his business in order to get to that 6,000 USD month. And then what we're going to do from there is map out how he's going to be able to get to 10K plus. Because to be honest, you're not that far away. You're really not.
I'm not.
With a 6,000 USD month, you're actually on the way there. So what you're going to be able to see on screen right now is the game plan that we gave to Joel to get him to his first 6,000 USD month. Now, what we're going to do is we're actually going to sit through, and I'm going to have you, Joel, if that's okay with you, just explain to myself and the viewer exactly what it is that you did in those areas in order to push things forward. Now, if you've watched any of my videos before, then you'll understand that the way we break it down is to 3 core steps and solving 3 core problems, because really there's only a few things, like you've just said, it is relatively simple, only a few things that you even have to solve in order to grow your online coaching business. And those 3 things are, number 1, having a small audience, number 2, having monetary uncertainty, as in not knowing how to turn those people into clients, and number 3, having an unstructured delivery. So the 3 areas that we've worked on is number 1, growing the audience, number 2, converting the audience, number 3, getting consistent results from those people who have become clients. So Joel, the first part that I'd like to jump into is actually the audience part and the first steps that we ever took, which was around creating your offer. So tell me what your thought process was around that and how you found the offer creation stage.
The offer creation was one of the most interesting to me, because we did like a research, so some interviews, and with people I know. So I asked them, okay, what are you struggling with when it comes down to fitness? What would be your goal and stuff? So out of these interviews, we really clarified the problems of the people. Therefore, yeah, we created just the Instagram bio. So what is my offer exactly? And we try to keep it as simple as possible, so that when people come on my profile, they see immediately what is it about.
Yeah, definitely. So first things first, we conducted some market research, didn't we, with some friends and people just in your local area that you knew that you could go ahead and get some information out of, so that you could get more data on how to articulate your offer. And this is a lot of people kind of skip over the part of, you know, going ahead and actually talking to their market and really figuring out what the people that they're going to be selling to even want. And I think that in the future, as online coaching grows as an industry, a lot more people will be starting to do this, especially with the strategy that we've been developing for that, because we then worked all of that data through AI, didn't we?
Yeah,
and we figured out how to articulate your offer. So
one thing is also I want to mention, through this, it's so easy for me, even if I just want to make stories, okay, I just keep to the idea, okay, what is my customer's brain? Okay, they struggle with losing weight. They struggle with the nutrition, they have no structure at all, etc. This helps in so many ways, and especially in content creation.
Yeah, that's such a valuable point, because we were on a walk, I think it was yesterday, and you actually said to me, I don't struggle with content ideas. Like I have loads of content ideas. Why is that?
Yeah. Because it's so easy for me to just create content ideas, and even though if I'm for a walk outside, maybe I know my customer's brain now, and even if I have a small idea when I'm just having a coffee or something, I just note it down. So it's just like I have so many ideas now, so that's not the struggle point. It's much more you really have to film these reels and do it.
Yeah. So it's more doing the work than actually knowing what to do that's more of a struggle there.
But this is,
it's part of the game.
Nice.
So the first thing that we did was market research to figure out exactly what his potential clients even wanted. The second thing that we ran through was offer articulation. So figuring out how to present his offer to his market, and then actually articulating that across his Instagram and within his content. So doing those two things, that's going to give you those content ideas. It's going to reduce the friction around actually going ahead and starting to create content for people to watch. And the way that we break this down, and the first step here, is building a priority offer. And the reason why I call it a priority offer is because you want to be giving you want to be giving your clients, you want to be giving the people who are thinking about buying into your program the opportunity to solve one of their priority problems, and you do that with a priority offer. For example, many of you will know I used to teach people to do handstands, and believe it or not, doing a handstand isn't people's top priority, you know?
Yeah.
But your offer is. So can you please just tell us what it is that you're helping people do in terms of the outcome?
My offer is just like, I help men to lose 12 kgs of body fat within the next 16 weeks.
Fantastic. Yeah. And like something as simple as that, like you've managed to achieve a $6,000 a month is you know, it's fantastic. So priority offer is there. Next is building the audience. So we call it infinity audience because technically in business you shouldn't do something for a day that you wouldn't do forever. We want sustainable business practices so that you can have a sustainable business with longevity to it. So in terms of growing your audience, we've got a few different things going on with that now. I know that we did the discovery, action, follow strategy, and a lot of people get caught up in that. But you didn't really seem to have much of a problem when we started implementing the content strategies and the follow strategies and now the ads as well.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that if you can.
Yeah, so first things first is about the outreach. So everyone out there has a following already. Mine was not that big, it was about 600 to 700 followers. They saw my content, they frequently engaged, but that were also the first persons I reached out to.
Sure.
Yeah, so I reached out to them, sending a DM, giving some value in terms of a freebie. So I provided, that's also an important point, to just give value then rather than,
Yeah, and I think that's more around the appointment setting, which we'll definitely get to. So what you're saying is, like, in terms of growing your audience, you didn't really necessarily have to do that in the initial stages because you already had people in your existing network that could become clients, which most people neglect, but leveraging your existing network is one of the most important things that you can do and one of the fastest ways to actually grow your coaching business. In fact, most people that you onboard as clients, they will come to you as people who are already in your network. You know, for example, me and you, we knew each other for 6 months before you became a client of mine, right?
Exactly.
And we'd be talking on and off. So this is the thing, don't neglect your existing network, don't neglect the nurture around that. We have a few other steps here, but just for the sake of the video, I'm not going to dive deep into what each one of these are. All you need to understand in the initial stages of getting your audience growing is picking who you're going to help, what you're going to help them do, having a sustainable way of growing your audience, and there's a few different ways and strategies that we can do that, which we're not going to dive too far into here just because they're very in the weeds and very tactical. In the other videos on the channel, you'll be able to see a little bit more about that. And this last step here with subculture status, that's about building a brand and something that we'll be talking about today to get you to get to that sort of 10K per month mark. But we're going to move on now to the juicy stuff, the conversion strategies. How do we actually convert these audience members into clients? And really we have 3 steps to this that we've been working on. We've got content, which we call conversion content. We've got appointment setting. So this is essentially making sure that you've got calls onto your calendar. And then you've got sales calls. So taking those sales calls. So let's start with content, right? Mm-hmm. Tell me, obviously I know that you've got unlimited content ideas because we've done so much work around your offer and around your offer articulation and the market research. But when it comes to creating content, how's that felt? And what would you say to somebody who's at 0 right now and wants to go to that point that you got to?
Yeah, it has to be targeted because no one, I think, is interested in just seeing gym stuff, flexing in front of a mirror, because people they need a reason why they follow you. So you have to think about, okay, what's the value out of this video, and therefore you also make the market research. Yeah. So I feel like, okay, if I post a reel or some piece of content, what is a problem that I can solve from my potential customer?
Sure.
Yeah. So that makes me much more confident in that way.
That's huge. Because most people don't think of content in that way. They're just like, how can I get more views? How can I get more engagement? How can I get more likes? And not how can I help the person on the other end of the video a little bit more. And I think what you've just said there is very important, because ultimately, if people are watching your content but they're not actually getting solutions to their problems and they're not feeling helped, then they're not going to trust you as an authority. They're not going to see you as somebody who can actually move them forward. And you've obviously been able to execute that perfectly with your content. Because look, the harsh reality is that you are at some point going to have to do some legwork. You're going to have to do some DMs. You're going to have to go to people, right? Because believe it or not, you're not this sort of like special coach that's just come on the scene that everybody wants to start paying, right? It's going to take a little bit of time. It doesn't matter who you are, what business you have. Outbound marketing is always going to be important. Does that mean you have to do cold DMs? No, it doesn't. You don't have to do outreach cold DMs. Don't worry about that. You can be messaging warm people and creating conversation opportunities, and ultimately that's what your content is there to do. It's there to engage and nurture the people that you've got in your audience already, so that you can, number one, start a conversation, and number two, actually make sure that that conversation is being pushed towards a call. So obviously you've had great success with content, and that's a really good tip and distinction, is to make sure that you are helping people in your content, you're providing solutions. Moving on to the next step then with appointment setting. Tell me how that's been for you, because this is something that I know that people are watching this right now going, damn, I hate doing the DM thing, and you know, it's the biggest part, it's the biggest resistance around the business.
Exactly.
It's tough, man. Really tough.
Well, I began some couple of years ago, like talking through DMs, and at first I always tried to book a call as fast as possible with the people, get them on a call, and even if there's a answer that is a bit positive from your DM partner, you're like, yeah, I want to book a call. And I was just like keeping it simple. The first I want to focus on is just to get a response from the person. Like, even the most important thing to me now is I asked them in the DM one question, and this has to be easy to answer. Okay, maybe where you're from, are you working towards a specific goal right now? If you don't mind to share it with me, stuff like that. So it's very easy to answer for the person. So first response.
Beautiful. That is definitely the first, like, there's no reason to have to DM people and get them on a call immediately, like you're saying. The first step there is just to get a response so that you've got an active inbox.
Yeah.
What's the next step?
To find out their goal. So I try to find out if they're even interested in fitness or nutrition, or if they're have a goal like losing weight or building a muscle. So I can just ask them, okay, hey, are you working towards any specific goal in that term? Yeah, simple as that.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think this might be the key difference between people like yourself who get to the numbers that you've got in your business this fast, and people that just take forever to get their first client. Is you understand that the reason why they'll buy is because they want something, they have a goal, and you're, again, speaking and selling straight to that. So let's hear the next step of what you're trying to achieve in DM conversations, if you can.
So if everyone has a goal, there is maybe a pain.
Yeah.
So I have to find out the pain point. Okay, if they even need my help. Is there something you're struggling with at this point?
Yeah.
Or what holds you back from achieving this and that in the last period of time?
Yeah, 100%. This is one of the best ways to break down conversations and like sales in general, and even just coaching, right? And like we're technically doing that here today with what we've got on screen, because all these reds down in the middle here are the problems and the pains that stop you from getting to where you want to be. So without having this destination, without understanding that goal, it's very hard to articulate how we're going to fix people's problems and whatnot. So as long as you understand this in coaching and in sales in general, that people have a goal and your job is to sell them that goal, sell them that outcome, life gets very easy, whether that's in your content, whether that's in the DMs. Notice how, like, when Joel's saying that, you know, when you're posting content, you need to provide solutions to people's problems and give them value. That is solving people's pains, right? And then the first thing that we're doing in the DMs after we've got a response is figuring out what people want. Okay, so once we've heard people's pains in the DMs, once they've started to say, I'm struggling with this, I don't know what to do with my diet, what are we doing from there?
I would be offering help. So I would ask the person, okay, nice goal to have. Is there anything you're unsure about, or Is there anything like holding back? And maybe I can give you a little bit of feedback how you're currently doing right now.
Beautiful.
So if you'd be interested in that, I'm doing this day and to other clients. So there will be for you also some value.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Talking like this.
Yes, and notice how he didn't once mention buy my program. He didn't once turn around and go, let's get on a call. All he's done right now is figure out what their goal is, what it is that they need help with, what's stopping them from achieving that goal, and then all he's done after that is propose that he gives them some help. Now, when you do it in this way, people feel stupid saying no. People feel stupid turning around after telling you all their pains, all their problems, and going, no, I don't want help. So it's really easy for them to turn around and go, yes, I want help. They're not saying they want to buy, they're not saying that they want to jump on a call with you, they're not saying that they want to, kiss your feet. They're just saying that they want help. So what's the next step?
So to book a call with them, to get them on a call and find out these things.
Yeah. So only then do you book the call. So once somebody said that they want the help and that they're open to getting your help with it, from there you turn around and say, great, well let's hop on a call and figure it out from there. And that's how you can start getting people onto calls from your DMs. Starting conversations is a different story, which we'll have to cover in a different point in time. But that's essentially how to go about having a DM conversation to the point where you've got somebody on a call. I'm sure you can think of reasons and ways to start conversations, but that's something we're going to be talking about going up to your 10K months. So calls, sales calls. How have your sales calls been? Because I know that people kind of get scared of sales calls, and I used to suck at taking calls. Yeah. So how's your experience been with that?
It's definitely something you get used to it the more frequent you're doing, of course, but I also take the pressure from my potential client out of it, and also from me. So I just say like, okay, let's just jump on a first 15-minute call, and it's not about a sales call. It's just about figuring out what their goal is, and if they want to make a step further. So my initial goal is not to sell them, not in a first call.
Ah, okay. So you're actually going to cold close at the moment.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Me too. I mean, I'm a big fan of the 2 call close. I would rather jump on, see if somebody's a fit, see if I can give them value, see if there's somebody I want to work with, and then invite them to a second, slightly longer call. So, did you have any struggles with sales calls, or has it been pretty smooth sailing?
So, yes, on the first sales call, I'm very happy that I can filter out the people that are not fitting my program. So therefore I also use only 15 minutes. Some of the time I struggled with the people I cannot afford, or this is not, it's not the right time, money-wise. Yeah, that's the most what I struggled with recently. So I offered them split pays. Sure. Of course, or making a slightly better offer to them that they feel a bit more comfortable. But maybe you have some insight.
Of course, we will talk through that a little bit more, and I want to go through your numbers because we need to engineer the numbers to fit your new goal, which we'll talk through soon. So you're saying that sales calls, they've gone okay, but you're now starting to get a few people that are jumping on the call saying, I can't afford it, now's not the right time, and those are some objections that you're needing to overcome. Yeah. Okay, so the first bottleneck that we're noticing here, because we're working towards obviously between 10 and 20K per month right now. One of the first bottlenecks that we're noticing is in the sales calls. So when you're doing these sales calls at the moment, what would you say, just as an estimate, and we do need to start tracking this, out of 10 people that come onto a call, how many people are turning into a client?
On the first call?
Sorry, onto the second call.
Onto the second call. So on the second call, it's very likely that I can close them. From 10, I can close 8.
Okay.
The second call.
Okay, really?
Yeah.
Okay. To be honest then, you might be getting into, because a lot of people say everybody's coming onto the phone and saying that they can't afford it and this is a problem. One thing to accept is that you're not going to get every single sale. It's just the way it is. And if you're sat there with an 80% close rate, right? 8 out of 10 people are closing. That doesn't tell me that we've got a sales call problem in terms of what's happening on the call. It tells me that we've got a sales call problem in terms of the volume of calls that you've got. Because if we place 100 calls in front of you in a month and you close 80 people, well, then we're going to be in a good spot. Yeah. So actually, you don't seem like you have a closing problem down to your numbers.
The most people, they disappear from the coaching idea after the first call. So if I successfully booked the second call, they text me at the day where we have the second call. Yeah, I thought about it again, and yes, money-wise, I cannot afford it at the moment. So then the second call is not going to happen. That's the bottleneck for me.
Got it. Okay, so you're actually booking a lot of those number one calls.
Yes.
But now you're starting to get people come onto those calls and sit and maybe cancel in between the first call and the second call.
Exactly.
That's all right. Yeah. Okay. Cool. We'll talk about that and make sure we can get that fixed. One solution could be moving to a one call close. But I think I do like the 2 call close for you, especially at the price point that you're at, with it being relatively high ticket.
Yes.
I don't think we need to actually go ahead and reduce it to 1 call only. Would you say? I mean, how many people would you say are actually doing that though? From call 1 to call 2, what would you say the drop off is? Out of 10 people that come onto call 1, how many make it onto call 2?
5.
Okay, cool. So that's like a 50% go to call 2. Okay, cool. So let's just do the numbers on that. Let's say, right, cool. Because with your calls, you're getting into a little bit of a numbers game. Not to like make your coaching business too robotic, or not to make you too robotic. You are getting into a bit of a numbers game in that, okay, if we book 10 initial calls, right, and then 5 of those people go to call 2, right? So 10 people jump on, and then only 50% of them end up at call 2, and then you said your close rate was like 80%. So you're looking at, out of 5 calls, getting 4 clients. So what we can do, really, if you're going to be tracking call 1 to call 2, you can kind of look at your 10 people that you got on the initial calls, and to calculate the sort of true drop-off rate, it's looking more like 40% of people that you book to a call are actually going through and becoming clients by the sounds of it, which isn't the biggest problem in the world. 40% is actually above industry standard, believe it or not. Yeah. Now, I'm actually a believer in the way that we do things, that you should be aiming to get an above 50% close rate, because you shouldn't be wasting your time jumping on calls with unqualified prospects and people that aren't going to be a good fit, because it's just a time suck. It's not the way that you want to live your life. We're out here in Thailand. You don't want to be wasting your time on calls. You want to be riding about on your motorbike and all that stuff. So that's cool. We'll talk through that, and I'm glad that we pinned that as a problem that's going to be a potential bottleneck. Now, in terms of getting people results, just on the delivery side of things, we're not going to dwell on this too long, because I know it's not the exciting, sexy stuff, and it's also not going to be anything that directly gets to your 10K. We'll talk about it at another point in time. But how are you feeling on the delivery side? Are you feeling bottlenecked by delivering the service to your clients in any sense whatsoever?
Not at all.
Okay, so you're not bottlenecked there, not a problem. Okay, brilliant. Okay, cool. All right, so let's move into actually mapping out. But those are the things. Like, I know it sounds really, really simple and easy, but those are the things that got you to, a $6,000 month, right? Because let's just break down your prices for a second here. So how much are you currently charging your clients?
I'm charging 1,500 Swiss francs.
Okay, 1,500 Swiss francs.
For 3 months.
Let's just put it into, I'm going to just put it into like USD, just for people watching. I believe that's around like 1,750. You're going to give it a quick Google.
$1,800.
That wasn't far off, yeah. So what 1,500 CHF actually converts, 1,500 Swiss francs actually converts to around 1,800 USD. We'll just round it down to 1750 USD. So that's your price point. Now, is that a relatively high price point, do you think, for people that you're working with, or do you actually think that is okay?
I think the most of them are okay, but of course they have to have a pain that they solve. If it's just like, okay, I'm paying like $200 for a nutrition plan, then they're not sticking to it. If the price tag is too low, in my opinion, it's the coaching not worth enough.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion. I
agree.
mean, everyone's coaching or everyone's product has its worth.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because there'll be people watching this right now who live in England, and they'll be like, "There's no way, no one's ever going to pay me, well, £1,000 for a coaching program." Why do you believe in yourself that you can charge this amount? Because I know some people, they don't even want to charge a fraction of this.
I know, and I did too. 1 year ago, I had my first client. Like I charged him 100 Swiss francs.
Yeah.
And the value I give them and the confidence I have now with all the support I can, I mean, it's about I help one person to achieve their goal.
Yeah.
And that must be worth much more actually than $100 or.
I agree.
Yeah. So I sell them the goal and not the time that I'm gonna invest.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course. I agree. Okay. Yeah. It takes a while to get around that like pricing thing though, right? What was there like a moment for you? Like, what would you tell somebody who is like currently charging maybe $100?
Yeah. I have a good mindset. Once a guy told me, has anybody so far told you that the price tag is too high? If the answer is no, then you're too cheap.
Okay.
Yeah.
So because there's a difference between them saying it's too high and I can't afford it. They're two different things going on there, aren't they?
I agree.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. Brilliant. So, and as well, I think that people in the UK will be like, oh, that's fine. And in Switzerland, there's loads of people, everyone's rich in Switzerland and money rains from the sky and it grows on trees.
No, it's not.
No?
No.
It's not like that.
No, I mean, it's based on the average income. Like, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so we're at 1750 USD. So what we want to do is get to 10,000 USD. So really, let's just do the maths on that. 5.7, so we can round that up to 6. So we need 6 of these sales in order to get to 10,000, that golden 10K per month mark. Now, I think that there's a few different levers that we can pull here in moving you to 10,000 per month, because you are confident in your prices, and honestly, because the close rate has been pretty good, I actually think that we can play around with potentially increasing the prices.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm saying that is because ultimately, if people will pay what you're currently charging, the likelihood is they will pay just a little bit more. And if we do that, we can actually save ourselves some work and actually save ourselves having to get an extra sale in the month and do less marketing and live more life. And it's just a good lever to pull within your business. So how do you feel about having a bit of a higher price point? Because I know that you're not charging nothing at the moment. It's not so small.
I could try it, of course. Yeah. Because the one-to-one personal training, of course, it was much more time consuming for me. But the highest I charged was 2,200. But the result at the end for the customer is the same. Yeah. Okay. So I could try it to charge more. Yeah. I actually think that 2,200 is a good price point to go to. But okay, obviously we're doing this in USD, so in Swiss franc that's 1,500. When you say 2,200, are you talking Swiss franc or USD? Yes, Swiss franc.
Ah, okay. What about if you went to your 1,500 Swiss franc at the moment? What about if you went to like 2,000 Swiss franc?
Yes, it could be. Yeah, it could be kind of a struggle, to be honest. Yeah, for some of them.
Okay.
Because the price tag was 1,500 was now for the people they can afford, but they had to start to ask for split pays.
Okay, sure.
Or the question come up for like, okay, can we start later? I don't have the money right now and stuff.
Sure.
So I think slightly higher, maybe at 1,700. I would say that's possible.
Okay.
Well, nothing is impossible though. It's just a try, you know.
You're talking yourself into it now. Yeah. Okay. To be honest, it all comes down to belief, because no matter what price point you're charging, you're always going to get people say, "Oh, can you do it a little bit cheaper?" Or can we do a split pay? You're always going to deal with that no matter where you're at. So the reason why I'm trying to push you to go to 2,000 Swiss franc for the package instead is because likelihood is, I don't know what that exactly translates to in USD, but I would imagine it's somewhere in the region of sort of 2,200 USD. We'd probably have to get one less sale to actually go ahead and achieve it. So you'd probably be looking at like 5 or even maybe 4 sales in order to go ahead and get to that. So, you know, that's like a 33% less work to do.
Yes.
For so much more gain, you know. Yeah. So it's something to think about. Do you need to increase your prices at this point? No. To be honest, I would say that you can definitely get to 10,000 with the prices that you've got, and you will do. So maybe don't put too much stress on that. But if you sense that you're getting on a call with a lead that is potentially a little bit more financially qualified, and you do want to test out those higher prices, and of course, maybe give them a little bit extra in terms of support when they're coming in as a client, and really make sure that they're getting a good result and they're getting their money's worth. Make sure that increase in value is there, it's important. Then you can do that now, right? All right. I want this 1,750 or 1,500 Swiss francs. I want that to be like the absolute
minimum
floor. Yeah, the absolute minimum. Yeah, split pay is fine, but I think if you can start to creep it up next few sales calls, then you're going to save yourself a lot of work. Down the line, and some of that is just having the balls to say the bigger numbers, and detach from it. But you're in a good spot to do that. Yeah. So I don't.
Would you say like I should try with 2,000 Swiss francs? All right.
I probably would. Yeah, I probably would go down the route of doing that. Do you know what's a really weird thing that happens? Because I changed my prices. I like doubled them for this offer, and the strangest thing happened. I started getting more sales.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Oh, and how about like I would increase the price, but also extend for another month? Like, is that a bad thing?
You can because how long is your offer right now?
3 months.
3 months.
With 1,500.
So you could go the 4-month offer for 2,000.
Yes. What do you think about this idea?
Yeah, I actually don't hate that as an idea. I think that there needs to be a little bit of a strategy though after the 3 months is up to retain them as a client going forward. So right now, what does the retention look like for you in terms of when somebody finishes 90 days, what happens then?
I think 50% they extend. Yeah. 50% drop out.
But when they extend, how does that work?
I give them a much cheaper price.
Okay, how much cheaper?
Like half of it.
You give them half price, and how long do they get then?
3 months.
They get another 3 months.
Another 3 months.
Sure. So it's then.
I'm sure I'm not having a very good strategy right now there. So this is also a point I have to work on, like the extension.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, is it costing you much energy? Like, so typically with my guys, people when they extend, they don't cost too much energy. So I don't mind having a very generous offer, and like I do the same thing as you. I actually give them another 6 months for half of the price that they initially paid, and that retains our good clients and keeps a good relationship and just ticks us over. So for you, is it costing you much time and energy with those people when they do retain? Like, do you have to do that much?
Much less.
Okay.
Because they know the app, they know the nutrition tracking, they know everything very good.
Sure.
I just keep talking to them.
Yeah.
And make sure that they're doing the daily stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's what I would do. If you're going to extend your program by a month, if you're going to increase the price to 2,000, that's cool. If you're going to extend it by another month, then what I would do is on month 3, you can offer that half price offer for the next 4 months. So when they hit month 3, you can say, cool, So are you happy with everything so far? Yes. Everything's going great. Cool. Would you like some more help on hitting your next goal? They're going to say yes. Then what you can say from there is, great. Well, if you do it a month earlier than you're supposed to renew, I'll actually give you a little bit off the price, and you could actually make that your half price. So that could be 1,000 Swiss franc. But if you renew next month when the renewal's due, it'll be maybe 250 Swiss franc more.
Okay.
So you give them a little bit of an incentive, a payment incentive to actually go ahead and renew on that month 3. So still within that first 3 months of you working together, you could be collecting 3,000 Swiss franc from that client.
Yeah.
And it's broken up very, very nicely. Obviously then you've got to work with them for that period of time. And you go a little bit of a longer period of time without getting paid from them. But what I found personally, if you're trying to get to 10K per month and just have that as a maintenance, and then every four months you've got them paying 1,000 Swiss franc or whatever it is, then you've got quite a nice business there, to be honest, which is reoccurring and not too much pressure to actually work with the client. So that's something to consider, because oftentimes with these like 10K months, it won't actually be like your new clients. Like I know that we're mapping out the numbers here and we're saying, right, you know, we need 4 new clients to get to 10K per month. Oftentimes it will be when you have like 2 clients renew, you get 2 paying fulls, you know, you have somebody else's reoccurring payment come in. It'll be like a combination of all those things just building up into one. And that's what will give you a 10K month. So that is in my opinion, what we should do as your pricing. Does that make sense?
Yes, sure.
Cool. So we're just going to put it in Swiss franc for you, because we'll write this down.
Yeah.
We'll write this down into your Notion after this. But so we're going from 1,500 up to
2,000.
2,000. But the thing that's changing there, this is 3 month, this is 4 month, and then on month 3 we offer them to stay in the program for another 4 months for 1,000. So they're getting 8 months for 3,000 Swiss franc. Yeah.
Very clever offer.
It's nice, yeah. And then every 4 months, all you're going to do is just renew them for that 1,000 Swiss franc, which means every year you're getting paid 4,000 Swiss franc from the client, right? And as long as your retention's on point, then that's good. I mean, you know, to get to the point where you're doing 10K per month from just your clients, you would need around between 20 and 30 clients just renewing.
Yeah.
It's not too bad, if my maths is right on that, don't quote me. Cool, so let's talk, obviously those are your numbers. This is where we can make things a lot easier there. Let's talk a little bit through your client acquisition and actually how we're onboarding people and how frequently we're onboarding. So let's start, you know, we're gonna use this from your audience and the growing audience element of this. So tell me what we've got running right now in terms of audience growth.
Audience growth is like the following strategy.
Cool.
That is one, and the running the ad.
Cool, so you're doing like a one-to-one reach out, not a cold DM, something different, explained in other videos. And then you're also paying for eyeballs as well, so you're running the ad. Cool, and every single day, how many new followers would you say we're getting at the moment?
It's about maybe 3 followers.
3 followers?
Yes.
Okay, that's a problem. Yeah, we need to get more than 3 followers.
Of course.
Yeah, that's a problem. So do you think that's down to something that we've done wrong with the ad, or do you think that's down to lack of consistency? What do you think it is? What do you think the actual
I think
problem is?
lack of consistency to really hit that, like
The following.
the following numbers. Okay, 1. And also maybe I asked myself sometime, like, is my whole setup like, okay, I'm gonna follow this guy straight away, because my offer is very clear. So I do not have any following, I think, when the people is not working towards the goal, losing fat.
Okay.
So it's but the followers that I have gained, they're very likely that they struggle with losing weight, and that makes it easier in the DM game.
Right, okay, I'm with you. Okay, so you're saying that the followers are following are pretty high quality, they're pretty high intent, they do want what it is that
It's
you're doing.
more quality than quantity, yes.
Sure. Okay. I think that one thing that we need to look at is your ad, because you should definitely be getting more than 3 followers a day if you're running, if you're paying for eyeballs. Obviously the one-to-one outbound following strategy, which very much works but is tedious. I think maybe we need to look at your consistency with that, or maybe look at the sources that you're going and who you're actually following in terms of people and the avatar there. So that's maybe like a little bit of targeting, a little bit of offer work.
The ad is currently not running, right? Just
currently not running.
Because I wanted to have a look on it.
Okay, sure.
When I see you.
Sure, yeah, we'll do that. Yeah. We'll do that after the video. But okay, so when you did have the ad on though, how many followers were you getting?
Then I've gained about 5 to 7 followers per day.
Okay, in total, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Let's just say 5 to 7.
Slightly higher.
Slightly higher, okay.
And in a week where the ad was running, I gained 30 followers in 1 week.
Okay, cool. So that is like your, sort of like 5 to 7, a little bit less, like 4 to 5 followers per day, which is, to be honest, not enough. We want to increase that lead flow. Now, when you're reaching out to these people, and going on to the next step of them being able to see your content, and then you doing some reach outs to them, what sort of responses are we getting at the moment?
They were like looking for inspirational content. Like they're already maybe trying to lose weight.
Sure.
So the response is, hey, yeah, you're making good content, and yeah, appreciate your content, you're doing very good.
Sure.
Then I asked them their goal. They tell me, okay, I want to lose weight, but they're like, I'm gonna offer them some free help, like to warm them up a little bit. They just came in as a follower, so I've had no stress to like nurture them a little bit.
Yes. So the thing is, right? If we kind of, let's just draw out the funnel here, just so everybody watching understands what's going on. So somebody is essentially becoming a viewer and an eyeball, and this is your top of funnel. This is getting new people to find out who you are. Let's just sort of draw out the numbers of what that's looking like for you at the moment. So you're getting, let's just say 5 per day, okay? The next thing that's happening from there is, once we've got that, once we're getting that first eyeball in, we want them to watch our content, and we want the nurture of them to be increased. We want to nurture them more so that their intent levels get higher, they become a warmer lead. You want to warm your leads up. Now, the problem that I'm noticing and that you're describing to me there is that people are coming in with relatively low intent. So they're getting into the inbox with you, but they're turning around and saying, hey, look, yeah, sure, I've followed you, but I've only followed you because I'm interested in the content.
Yes.
Right? And
at the first place, but they have a struggle.
Of course, everybody has a struggle, and this is the thing. It's like, they're not admitting that to you yet because they're not nurtured enough. It's kind of like, if you ask your girl what's wrong, she's probably going to tell you. If I ask your girl what's wrong, she's going to go, well, why are you asking me that?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because there's not the nurture there. So that's something that we need to address. Now, I think one thing, or a few things that we need to focus on, is lead magnets. Right? Lead magnets. And when I say lead magnets, I mean long form guides that your viewers and people watching you can sit down, watch, learn, get to know you better from, so that they've spent more time with you outside of a call and outside of a one-to-one interaction, so that when you do pop back up into their inbox, like, oh my God, it's Joël.
Yeah.
Similar to this video is an example of exactly that. So, any ideas in mind for a lead magnet?
Yeah, sure, maybe to set up a talking head video, like in long form, maybe a longer video where I really talk about my experience, how I started and stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and really show them, okay, what was my progress in the past 12 years when I started.
That, I think, is one of the best videos that you can possibly do. So I would do, your journey. That would be the first one that I do in terms of lead magnets that you can give to people. The next thing that I would do, so with your transformation machine, I would pick out your 3 pain points. So one thing, again, that we've got Joël to do on his side of things when it comes to delivery and actually figuring out the process that he's going to take his clients through, is we've attacked 3 big problems that he helps people solve, right? I would make 3 lead magnets around those 3 big problems that you help people overcome, right? So, and again, if you're watching this, that's 3 problems that you help people solve. Just write them down and make lead magnets around them.
I have them in my report.
Yeah, don't worry about listing them out just now. But those are the 3 lead magnets that I'd make. So you've got 4 from today that you need to think up and go and do. And you can do those lead magnets on these 3 problem solvers. You can do it on a Miro board. You can do them on a talking head. I would just do them on a talking head for right now, because even in your DMs, because it's sounding like you've got a little bit of a, you could definitely get a higher close rate and get more clients if in between those calls, or even before those calls, you were sending them these lead magnets and they were spending that time with you and they were getting more nurtured. They would be less inclined to turn around and go, "Oh, George, you know what, actually, man, I'm not really bothered, I'm not really interested, I don't have the money."
After the second call, I sent them the lead magnets?
Before the second call.
No.
And drip feed them. Drip feed them. So as you're having conversations with people, so this is where you can now use them as like nurture assets and conversion assets. If in the DMs somebody's expressing to you that they're struggling with X problem, then you send them X resource to help them overcome that. So that not only are they staying in that conversation with you, but outside of them being in that conversation, they're listening to you. They're listening to what you're saying, they're learning from you, that nurture's being built, that relationship's being built. It's so important, and many people just neglect that, and it's one thing that's blew my business up, and it's made life very, very easy. So, big focus for you, big focus. Okay, so next part is obviously your conversion, and I think, so we're talking about your call 1, call 2. It's sounding like we don't have a problem once people get on call 2. If they get on call 2, it doesn't seem like we're having a struggle in closing them.
Yes. So call 2 is likely very successful.
Good. Yeah, that's good. Well, that's good news, man. That's good news. Because I was going to suggest one thing that you can do if you're doing this 2-call close and you're finding that when you're getting on that call 2 with people that people aren't closing, you can increase the nurture in between call 1 and call 2. And you can still do this, sending people like a personalized video or something along the lines, even if it's just like a selfie video. Hey, it's me, Joël, we're going to be having our call in a few days' time. Just wanted to go over what we're going to talk about, and just giving them a little bit of sort of,
insight.
Hello. Yeah. Okay, cool. So those are the first few things that we need to look at. Now, breaking down the numbers. So if we're getting 5 people come through the DMs at the moment, how many DMs are you sending right now? How many messages are you sending out to people?
Per day.
Per day.
Per day. So per day, and total average is about 10 maybe.
10?
Yes. It's 10.
That's, yeah. I mean, we could definitely. That's so funny. That's like you going. That's like somebody coming to you and going, "Oh, I'm not losing weight," and you going, "How many steps have you done today?" And them going, 500. And you turn around and go, "Well, I've done 10,000." Right?
Yes.
So honestly, and again, not saying, "Joël, you suck, you should do more DMs." It's not the case. Yeah. What I am saying is that that's a fucking fantastic sign for your business. If you're only sending 10 DMs per day and getting those sorts of results, that means that we've got your offer so dialed in that people are just buying it, that your sales process and your emotional intelligence and your connection to the people that you're talking to is on point, and that's working as well. So the answer is, look, we've got two options. We can either do more or we can do better, right? Yeah. And we're talking about the lead magnets, that's going to better your conversion. But in terms of your communication one-on-one with people, it sounds like that is up to scratch. I think that the big lever to pull might be more. Yeah. What are you going to say to me?
Yeah, me too. Because out of these 10, so when I was running the ad, I just sent the new followers from the ad, the DM, and maybe 5 others from my existing following.
Yeah.
I was just like also thinking, and this I have to overcome. Okay, I have a following of 800 people now. And if I send them all the DMs, so 30, 30, 30 every day, so I don't have any people to
Sure.
DM.
So you're a little bit afraid of running out of your
Exactly.
leads.
That's why I was not that consistent in that way.
Sure. No, that makes sense. But I would say that's like go for your leads sooner rather than later. And the reason for that is because like if you recognize that that's going to be a problem, okay, cool. Let's reinvest that cash that we're getting back into things like your ads, so that we can, you know, because if you collect 15K, why not spend 5K on ads?
Sure.
Right? If we really want to scale, which you can do with the followers that you've got right now. Everybody thinks that you need loads of followers or loads of eyeballs to make like 15K per month. At the price points that you're at, you can do a 15K month. You can get 10 clients from your 800 followers. It's more than doable. It's just over 1% of your following. So, okay. Right, here's the thing. We're going to summarize this because this video is going on. We're going to summarize this. So to get to 10K per month from now, right, we've established that you're doing a lot of things right? And look, by the way, you're 2 months in, right? So you don't have to be at 10K. But if you really want to be at 10K sooner rather than later, one thing that we need to do is I would go to like, with DMs, I would probably go to about 30 per day. I would go up to that 30 number for the time being, right? Now, on top of that, to make your life easier with sending 30 DMs and to make sure that those DMs are high leverage and that you're getting a response out of them, make sure that we're creating lead magnets and promoting them onto your, and we'll talk through this off camera and whatnot. Yes. Make sure that you're promoting that on your story constantly. Make sure that we're doing little mini launches around that so that you're getting opportunities to start those conversations in context to the offer. That's one thing. The next thing is we'll take a look at the ads and see if we can get that turned back on so that you've got a few more people flowing in so that you can send those to the DMs as well.
What do you think about the cost, the quality of cost when it comes down? I spend like 80 Swiss francs for, so if I had 40 Swiss francs, 40 cents for one click on my profile.
That's pretty high. To be honest. What would you say is the cost? So again, this is the next thing that I'm going to move on to with you. So the other thing that we need to do, and this is something that we haven't really spoken about much, but it is kind of looming in the background. The other thing is tracking, right? Yeah. The other thing is tracking everything. So we're going to start, and again, I don't put pressure when they first start running ads or, you know, you're first starting to do DMs. I'm not going to put so much pressure on you to go ahead and track because there can be resistance to doing it in and of itself. But if you want to push to 10K per month, which is not a small number, it's a big business to have, right? If you want to push to 10K per month, you have to treat it like a proper business and we have to track things. Now, the question that you're asking me is, okay, well, I'm only getting 40, it's 40 cents per profile visit, but we don't know how much it is per follower. We don't know how much it is per call booking. We don't know how much it is per conversation. We don't know what our cost per lead is. So without knowing that, it's hard to say, right, well, let's go now invest loads of money into this part of the business. So over the next 2 weeks, what we'll focus on is tracking everything, autistically tracking everything we possibly can, right? And that's not just on the, you know, of course, we'll jump back into ads or whatever. That's not just with ads though, right? That's also on the organic side of things with the amount of messages that you're sending. Not just the messages that you're sending, but the amount of call proposals that you're getting out there. Because as much as tracking your DMs is important, if you can propose calls to people and actually have a cadence for that and have a target of how many proposals you want to get out there, that also makes your life a lot easier. The third thing, and again, we're going to finish off in a second. I know that this is over and we've gone over an hour on this now. But the third thing that we want to actually go ahead and make sure we're tracking is individual leads. So are you using the CRM at the moment?
Not yet.
Okay, no. Perfect. Because fortune is in the follow-up and leads will slip through the crack if you don't actually track them. So that's one big thing as well. To get to 10K per month, you've pretty much got to do a little bit better with tracking and more with the stuff that you've already been doing. It really is.
Pricing.
And increasing the pricing. So those are the three steps. So we've got, let's just make this really clear to you. It's actually really simple when you break it down, isn't it? Like, me and Joe, me and my brother, we sit down and do this with our business every single week. Yes. Every single week we sit down and just do what we've done today. So the first thing is increasing the prices. The second thing is increasing the volume. The third thing is increasing the quality of tracking. And that, to be honest, my prediction is that we'll get beyond 10K per month doing that over the next 4 to 6 months.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this, man. Really appreciate it.
Man.
So, if you've made it to this point in the video, I'd like to extend an invitation to you to go ahead and book a call with myself using the link in the description, so that, like I've just done with Joël, I can sit down with you and map out exactly how we're going to help you get towards your goals with your business. There's going to be no pressure to necessarily buy anything. Of course, if you're a good fit for my program and our service, I will extend an invitation further into that. But there's going to be no pressure. We genuinely just want to see you go ahead and move your business forward to the point where you're able to live out in Thailand or have the time freedom to go ahead and train, spend more time with your family, whatever your motivations might be. We're here to help you go ahead and fulfill that. So go to the link in the description, book a call, and again, congratulations to Joël on his success, and thank you very much for watching. See you in the next.